MMA Oddsbreaker, Frank Trigg, of course, it's Brent Cooper getting ready to fight Brandon Halsey coming up on Bellator here on July 25th in Pechanga. Hometown fight for you this time, right?
Yeah. I'll probably have a little bit over 50 people coming.
Oh, is that all?
Always good.
Do you get bonus for ticket sales?
I think I might get a little bit. I'm not too positive, but they gave me a promo code for my name, so I'm assuming that gives me something.
They give you a little bit back, hopefully a little pay raise. How is the money over at Bellator for fighters? Is it okay for you as far as you're concerned?
I make a living. So I mean, if I fight, I think 3 times a year, I'm doing okay.
Okay.
It's decent. I mean, I've been with Bellator for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we went off a normal pay scale, starts at 6-6 in UFC or something like that, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I think it's the same in both events. It starts 6-6. I've had 12 fights, 8 wins or so. So around 25 or 20 and 20 or 25 and 25. So I mean, if you fight 2 or 3 times a year and you win, then
you're doing okay.
If you're not stupid with your money, a lot of guys are stupid with their money. But
do you want to fight 2 or 3 times a year? Or you want to fight 4 to 5 times a year?
2 or 3 is good for me. 2 or 3 is good for me.
What?
Yeah, no. Yeah, maybe 4 years ago, 4 or 5, but now I'm more of a 2 or 3 guy.
Yeah, smart. Let's talk about Scott Coker. He just took you guys over. Jordan Rimney is gone. Scott Coker is in. Have you noticed a difference at all from your end?
From my end, so far, I mean, not really. I mean, I'm doing interviews for different avenues like ESPN and NBC Sports. I'm not sure if that's more of Coker's, more of his connections or not. I think he may be easier to deal with in the media aspect. I'm not sure. I mean, that's what I've heard.
No, he is. He's a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah. Other than that, I think this card that I'm fighting on, and then the next card in September, is still kind of the old regime.
Yeah.
Not really, but I mean, after that, then it's kind of like clean slate. You know what I mean? So after that, then we'll see what happens. But so far, I mean, I haven't too many things that are crazy, other than, I mean, him being there. Period. So.
Well, I'll tell you this: everyone I talked to in the inner office, all my friends at the executive level, are all very excited. For those of them that kept their jobs, I mean, obviously there was some firings, some other people that got let go as well. You can't have the same regime in when you bring in a new king. You got to kind of change some of the lower guys, but they're all saying how much more fun it is in there. I'm hoping that after this event, it'll trickle down to the fighters as well, because honestly, you guys, for most of you guys, you're one of the few guys that have been in the sport for a long time. You kind of get it, but most of the guys that fight with Bellator don't get how good of a promoter that Scott really is, and the reason why that.
I have no clue. Yeah,
a lot of
fights and they have no clue.
He's an amazing promoter to work for, and he's a guy that's going to get along with everybody, and it means bigger and better deals for everyone involved, which means bigger endorsements and bigger contracts and more money coming in for you guys as fighters, and more red carpets and more movie premieres, and obviously you really are part of the Viacom machine.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's one thing that I'm looking forward to, because, like you said, I've been doing this for a good while. I mean, you've been in the sport for way longer than me, but I mean, a lot of the guys that have 10 fights, 11 fights, they really don't understand. Like for instance, who's the 55-pound champion? What's his name? Wilbur.
Yeah, Bellator, yeah.
Kid, very talented kid. I don't know. I mean, he might be the same age as me, but anyways, he's got like 12, 13 fights, and that's a good amount of experience. But he doesn't really understand how good he has it, or things like that. Where he's necessarily at.
Is 12 or 13 fights a good measuring stick anymore? Because when we started, when I started, a 10-fight winning streak was really important. Like getting to that 10-0 mark was a big deal. But all of us came from different backgrounds. We all came in from a karate background, or jiu-jitsu background, or wrestling background. Where most of us had, wrestlers, we had 1,200 to 1,500 matches throughout our career. And now the new group of guys have nothing else other than MMA. They haven't done anything else but fight. Their entire times are 6. So is really having 10, 12 fights a good measuring stick for how good a guy's going to be now that everyone's kind of made this conversion into just being an MMA fighter from the time they're 6 or 7 years old?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can have 1,200 wrestling matches. You can have, hundreds and hundreds of hard sparring sessions. But getting ready for the fight, having the lights turned on, it's just different, I think. And so that kind of experience in being able to deal with the stress and the pressure that comes with that is you can't buy that. You can't, that's not something you can get without experiencing it. So, I mean, I'm not being negative towards him or anybody that's like him in that way. It's just they're in a good spot. They're in a good spot, and they need to appreciate that good spot they're in.
Let's talk about the spot that your opponent, Brandon Halsey, is going to be in here in a couple of weeks. He's 6-0. Let's talk about him a little bit. Yeah. Obviously, you're 29. You've been around a long time. In comparison, if you look at record-wise.
Yeah.
How do you break him down as a competitor? And do you think he's really – it's tough for you because you're not a trash talker. Let's talk about a guy being worthy. Is he worthy of fighting you now, right now at 6-0 versus you're 29?
Well, in my positive way of thinking, everybody's worthy. You can't ever think somebody's not worthy. You don't want to be that guy that goes out there and gets beat because of thinking like that. He was a replacement guy in the tournament, so he was kind of a last-minute guy put in there. He has skills, Everybody has skills. He has 2 arms, 2 legs. I have 2 arms, 2 legs. And if I don't come out there and show my A game, of course he can beat me. But do I think he's going to beat me? I don't think so. And if I kill him, it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really hurt his worth anyway. I mean, it's kind of like that's kind of the way it works, I mean, I only have almost 30 fights, and it's not like I've fought 30 nobodies. I've fought, good amount of decent guys for the majority of my career. So, but I mean, it's a win-win for him. I mean, it's a win-win for me too because I'm trying to make money. So that's kind of where it's at, and it's the final of the tournament, so it's pretty decent money. And I'm looking forward to maybe getting this fight, one more fight this year. If I win, then kind of move smoothly in the next year. But to walk that trash talking line, is he worthy? I'm going to go with I'll show you if he's worthy or not.
Well, let's go back and look at some of the guys you're talking about you fought. Conor Hume, Toby Greer, Jesse Romero, Jason Von Flue, Rory Markham, Sergio Moraes, Steve Carl, Keith Berry, Alexander Shemenko, Joe Dirksen, Daryl Cobb, Norman Parsley, Dane Kramer, Doug Marshall, of course, and then Shemenko again, and then Kendall Grove was your last fight. So you're looking at you've got more named fighters in your career that are names that anybody that follows the sport even remotely is going to be able to recognize that name as somebody that fights more so than he even has fights at this point. And not saying anything against Brandon, is he worthy or not? It was just a question I was putting out there because it seems like now a lot of these fights, because of the way the tournament is set up, that guys that wouldn't really be matched up with somebody else get matched up with somebody else because they're the next guy in line. Now, obviously, Coker came out and said there's no more tournaments. We're done with them. We're not going to have them anymore.
That's why tournaments are stupid.
It really doesn't match. It only matches the best guys up that are prepared for that particular night. Not necessarily the best guys that are in that entire weight class. And I'm more of a guy that wants to see the best guys in the entire weight class, not a guy that's prepared every 6 weeks to compete.
Exactly. Yeah, no, the tournament doesn't necessarily bring the best people. It's not something. It's more like a video game, like a cool. Let's see who can go through the gauntlet and who's going to be at the top of the tower at the end of the 3 fights. It's just we're humans and it doesn't really work like that. There's injuries. Some guys have tougher fights than other guys. Some guys would get buys. Some guys wouldn't be able to get buys. And then, they would have to fight, and then they would get an easier opponent that's a late-notice opponent, things like that. So, I just think the tournaments, it needed to go away because it was more hurting all the talent. Like, you want to build up your talent, and you don't want to just, destroy them. And then, the guy, the first fight of the tournament, it's a 3-fight tournament, and the guy loses a split decision or, second fight he loses to a guy he shouldn't have lost to. because he had a really tough fight before that.
Right.
You know, it doesn't make sense. And and also the pay scale too is that's the only way you were really able to make any money with Bellator, unless you were the champion. Was the pay scale was like, well, but then you have guys like you said, if they're not worthy of necessarily earning the same money as the guys they're fighting, which I would have to say, skillfully wise, is Halsey deserving to fight me? Yeah, for sure, but financially and his contract making the same as me, is he worthy? Hell no.
He doesn't have the name draw. He doesn't have the name power. He doesn't have the endorsement.
Nobody even knows who he is. Like people ask who you're fighting. I'm like, don't even worry about it. You're not going to know the guy. He's a good wrestler. He's a decent guy, good fighter. He can beat me, but you don't know his name.
Right.
Plain and simple. So I think the financially worthy is the same as me. No, he shouldn't be making anything close to what I'm making, but he is. And that's how it is. That's the contract we signed. That's how it is. But it should change, hopefully.
And it should work itself out come July 25th between the two of you when the fight's all said and done. It should work itself out by you proving that he's not supposed to be in that space, even though he is 6-0. All of a sudden he gets destroyed by you, and now it's proven that look, I make more money for a reason. More people want to come see me fight. More people want to watch me fight, and I can beat you straight head to head. So all right,
hopefully work.
Yeah. Right. Thanks for coming on here with us at MMA Oddsbreaker. I appreciate it. Enjoy that. What is that? Not even a mullet. Like, what is that thing you have going on your face? It's way beyond a beard. It's moved on to full Grizzly Adams now.
Oh yeah, I know. I'll take a picture and tweet it to you. It's pretty gnarly, dude. It looks better when I don't mess with it though. Just put a little conditioner in it and just kind of pat it.
I am realizing the more I talk to you, the less and less I am of a man with mine. I'm just now got a little starter kit. I have a little beard starter kit going on right now. It's
looking good.
Thank you. I'm trying my best with what I got. A little patchy. It's a little patchy inside, but we're working on it. All right, bro. We'll talk to you soon, bud.
All right, brother. Thank you.